This is Molly Reardon. Come on in, come on in. Thank you, I appreciate you tuning in. This is my review of Catherine Ponder's The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. I was once a single mom of 3 teenagers, and I worked, but even with working, sometimes, and I think some of you will understand this, there were times when things were tight. And so I started reading Catherine Ponder, and at first to me it was very boring. I was like, how is this going to help me? It just didn't seem like it was going to help. But I had tried everything. I was working, like I said, and so I opened my mind and I read the book, and I saw things happen from reading that book. And then I got swept up in the tidal wave of life, went on my way. My children are now adults. And recently, I saw Catherine Ponder popping up on YouTube. I also like to listen to Brian Scott, and she popped up on his channel, and he was talking about her. So I decided to revisit The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity, and I read the book and saw immediate results. Immediate. I was kind of surprised. I would say within 24 hours. And I read through the book, but I also said the affirmations out loud as I was reading the book. And I wrote some things down. I've been talking to people since 2005 from all walks of society, from celebrities to judges to policemen to you name it, to chefs to housewives. And all of the very successful people always tell me, you need to write things down. It's not enough to just say it. There's power in writing things down. So I wrote some things down while I was reading her book that I didn't want to forget, because we always say that we're going to remember. And science has shown that we forget most things. So writing it down is helpful. She talked about how since ancient times they found that there was some power in writing things down 15 times. So I did that. I wrote down something in there 15 times. There was an expression that she said that worked for her immediately and for a lot of other people. God prospers me now. So I wrote that down 15 times. And like I said, I saw some results today, so I said I'll hop on here and I'll give a review, because when I find something good, I share it with you guys. I've accumulated a lot of tools in my life, a lot of valuable tools from successful people, but if I have a toolbox and it's sitting under my bed collecting dust, it's not going to do me any good, and my life is going to reflect that. And it has. During the times that I was using the tools that I've learned about, my life reflected that. And during the times when I didn't, and I decided to go back to my old ways, my life went back to the way that it used to be, of stress, of struggle, of wondering, how am I going to do it in the physical world? And she talks about when people are trying to struggle and do what they need to do to accumulate whatever they need to accumulate, whether it is to pay the bills or whatever you need it for, it's harder to manifest. But when you go within and you relax and you quiet yourself down, which is not easy to do in this society because most people are rushing around, running around, and they'll look at you kind of crazy if you brought a vision board to the office, which she calls a wheel of fortune, or if you were saying your affirmations out loud, some people will look at you like you're crazy. But most people that are happy with the money that they're making, meditate in the morning. They get quiet, they relax, and they take some time for prayer or meditation, and they write down a list of how they want their day to go, and they picture it. And most people that are struggling, they get up, they grab the coffee, they run out to the car, they're just running, working hard, and always talking about how hard they're working and how hard it is. And there's the difference. Just taking, because I asked someone one day, I always ask successful people, what do you do? So I asked this guy that came from nothing, that now owns multiple properties. His family is prospering. He enjoys his grandchildren. What do you do? He says, when I wake up in the morning, I take some time to be still, to calm down, to relax, and I picture my day the way I want it to be. And science has shown that when we first wake up, our mind is in the alpha state, and that is the state that the brain's in when we're manifesting, when we're achieving our goals. And right before we go to sleep, our brain's in that state as well. So it makes sense what he said. When people take time to quiet their minds, to relax, and to focus on what they want as if they already have it. And that's what Catherine Ponder does. Every day she sits down, she makes a list of what she wants to happen for her day. She gets quiet. She also does prayer. And prayer is just a form of energy. Money's energy, everything's energy. Thoughts are energy. So I've also talked to people that are struggling, and most of them are frazzled, they're angry, they're working as hard as they can, jumping out of bed, getting the coffee, fighting traffic, and they don't have enough. So I look at the two sides, and what's the difference? The ones that are enjoying their lives and doing it with ease, they take 5 to 10 minutes in the morning to calm down and picture their day the way that they want it to be and make a list. And in her book, she talks about an engineer who, there was a big job that he had to do, and they couldn't figure it out. So he keeps a little notebook in his pocket, and he'll write down how he wants it to go, how he wants it to turn out. And no one knows what he's doing at the job site. So I give this book 5 stars because it's an old friend to me. This book goes way back. I used it when I was surviving. I love my kids, but when you have 3 teenagers, there's always something that you need to get the money up for, and usually at the last minute. And this book helped me through it then, and I revisited it now at a later time in my life, and there's a lot of wisdom in there, in that book. And she herself, Catherine Ponder, her husband died and left her with a small child, and it worked for her. So thanks for tuning in, and much love.